everybody, welcome back to another video in the Postcards from Portugal series. My name is Mia Hemstad, and if you're new here, my family and I moved to Portugal in March 2022 to discover what it's like to live abroad. Honestly, we really needed a break from the United States. Some people have been asking if this is permanent. We don't know yet, but today I'm excited to talk to you about 7 things that you're gonna need in order to apply for the D7 visa and immigrate to Portugal. The D7 visa is the visa that my husband and I were able to get in order to move and immigrate to Portugal and stay here for an extended stay. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on because that's my personal experience. One thing I want to say is that this video is not an extensive list by any means. If it was, it would be 2 hours long and I would need to be an attorney in order to consult you appropriately on everything. This is of course based on my personal experience and is not professional advice. But if you are coming into this video because you're looking to DIY your way into your D7 visa, which a lot of people have done, I want to recommend going to this website. It's called VFS Global. Not sponsored or anything like that. I'm just letting you know. It's the official partner of the Portugal Embassy in the United States. So they're gonna have the most up-to-date information, checklists, applications, all of that stuff. If you wanna know what do you need, what type of visa do you qualify for, you have to make an appointment with them in order to submit your application. They're going to be the best people to, the best website to go to. So I will leave a link to VFS Global in the description. The requirements for a D7 visa or any visa for that matter can change at any time. They did for us, even in the middle of our visa process of gathering everything we were told we needed. And then the requirements changed because the government can do that. And that's just a part of, dealing with bureaucracy and following the rules of the country you want to live in. So keep that in mind. But the 7 things I'm going to be sharing today are major ones that I know are currently required. And in terms of like relevancy, how long ago did I apply for a visa? I applied for a visa in November of 2021, and I obtained my visa in late January. So I'm filming this as of July. So things could have changed, but from what I hear from people who are currently in the process, these top 7 things I'm going to share with you are still relevant. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing you're going to need is a passport. And I know you're probably like, yeah, Damia, it's international travel. Of course I need a passport, but you need a passport that's not going to expire while you're abroad. And a lot of us tend to forget to look at that expiration date. When I started the visa process, I thought, great, we're good. I can start this. I have a passport already. My passport was gonna expire. And so it delayed our visa application by like 3 or 4 months because I had to apply for a passport and there was a huge backlog and delay because COVID was dying down and everybody wanted to travel. So keep that in mind, work on that because I know there's a lot of pieces to the visa process and I know people can get fixated, I know I did, on everything you need to do, but it really comes down to one step at a time. And if you could work on your passport now, that's gonna save you a lot of headache and time in the future. And don't forget that if you're traveling with your kids, if you are moving abroad with your kids, you need their passports too. So get that out of the way. That's step 1. It's one of the most important things you're gonna need. The second thing you're gonna need is an FBI background check, and you need to make sure this background check is at the federal level, a federal background check, not a state background check, okay? And the reason why you do this is obviously to let the country know that you are not a criminal, that you don't have a criminal background. And this background check cost me about like $85 a person. You have to go get your fingerprint scanned, and you can get this done at select United States Postal Service locations, USPS. So when you go on the USPS website, you should be able to search like FBI background check, USPS, and make sure you're on the USPS website, the official website for the United States Postal Service. And it shouldn't be that hard to find. From there, I was able to select federal background check. And then I was able to put in like my zip code so that they could show me the post offices near me that offered FBI background checks. And then I think the results of the background check came in like a couple of weeks. I am told that there's starting to become more delays just because there are so many, so many people who need these now. I don't know if it's because of applying to get visas, but just keep that in mind that you need that, and that when you submit your visa application, at least the D7 visa, your background check can only be 90 days old. So if you go in, like let's say you apply for your visa, you submit all your paperwork in January, but your background check is over 3 months old, they're not going to accept your application. So it's a time sensitive thing. And so we kind of waited, my husband and I waited until we had most of our stuff together for the application. And then we got our background check, we put our application together, and then we went to the consulate to submit our application in person. So make sure that you get that background check and you pay attention to the timings. The third thing that you're gonna need is a NIF number. NIF stands for Número Identificação Fiscal. And basically what this is a Portuguese tax identification number. It kind of seems like it's a social security number, but way less private, because when you're in Portugal, anytime you buy anything, whether it's eggs or you go to a restaurant or you go to the doctor, you need to give them your NIF number. And a lot of people call it fiscal number here. So when you say NIF, they don't know what you're talking about. So, but it's a NIF number. You need that for your D7 visa application, and your kids need it too if you have kids. This is something that the attorneys that my husband and I hired helped us with, but I'm gonna talk in a minute about a service that is a little bit less expensive, a little bit more accessible. But you need a NIF number. It's a tax ID number. You need to give it for anything that you buy here. If you forget, it's not a big deal. But according to my attorney, he said that the more you report your expenditures under this NIF, under your tax ID number, the less taxes you're going to pay later. I'm not an expert on the whole tax situation. I hope to do another video on it when I am more informed and I finally hire somebody to help me with my taxes. But I just wanted to let you know that getting a NIF number, a tax identification number, is an important part of the visa process. The next thing that you're going to need is a Portuguese bank account. And this was an added requirement right when I started applying. I remember it was very new, but now it's standard. And one of the obstacles that people are running into is they're like, oh my gosh, do I need to like fly to Portugal just to open a bank account? And I know some people are planning their own scouting trips and they're coming here to check out neighborhoods and open their bank account and get their NIF done. But if you want to get your NIF number and your bank account done by a service, I highly recommend using this service called Border. I spoke with the founder of Border. They're a husband and wife team, and they have this really awesome service that enables expats to get their NIF and Portuguese bank account for a really affordable cost. If you've never heard of Border, they have over 1,000 reviews on Trustpilot. They're a legit company. They're run by expats themselves, so they know what the struggles are of being an expat. They're originally from San Francisco, and then they settled here in Portugal, I think in 2020. So they're really cool. I spoke directly with Kathleen. I decided I wanted to be an affiliate for them. So if you use my link in the description, you're gonna get 10 euros off your purchase. And another really cool thing that I love is that if you bundle your NIF service with your Portuguese bank account service, you're able to save some money there as well. So if you're looking to DIY your visa application process, but you don't want to have to figure out how to get a Portuguese tax identification number and how to open a Portuguese bank account, Border takes care of that for you, which I think is really cool. The fifth thing you're gonna need is a way to convert your money from US dollars to euros and a way to transfer that money from your US bank account to your Portuguese bank account. I remember when I first was told this, I was so overwhelmed. I had never exchanged money in a different currency before, but it's actually surprisingly easy. The attorneys I work with recommended this service called Wise. They used to be called TransferWise, but now they're called Wise. And I'm gonna put a link in the description for you. But compared to transferring things directly through my bank, they are so much cheaper than other exchange services. And I noticed that if you try to just exchange money or wire money like directly from your bank, it's like the fees are astronomical. So Wise has the lowest fees. It's very widely used by expats here. And if you want to check Wise out, I'll put a link in the description. But again, you need a way to convert your money from US to Euro and to transfer that money from your US bank account to your Portuguese bank account. And once you get it set up, it takes literally like 20 minutes and it's really easy to use and I love it. Very convenient. The sixth thing you're going to need for this visa is proof of income from a business or a remote job. So a lot of people that get the D7 visa are remote workers or they're freelancers, digital nomads. So a lot of people have been asking me, what do you do for a living? I am a self-care coach. I am a content creator. I also do some web design on the side, some graphic design for some one-on-one clients. But yeah, that's what I do. And my husband is a video animator and editor. So we've always kind of been people who can work from our laptops, and we're very fortunate in that. So if you are like, how do you get qualified? Having remote income is really important for the D7 visa. It isn't the only type of visa though. So this video, again, it's only about the D7 visa. I've heard from people who live here and other relocation experts that there are other visas, like for people who want to work in hospitality, like if you want to work in restaurants or hotels, that there are options to get work visas that way. But yes, you need proof of income. And I think when my husband and I apply, we need to show 3 months of income statements, like bank statements, to show that you're actually making money from somewhere and that your job is remote. So 3 months, that's what you're gonna need. The last thing I wanted to talk about is proof of accommodation. So right now, what I'm hearing is you need 12 months of accommodation. You need to show that you have a lease somewhere for 12 months, or that you've bought a house or something. Most people who get the D7 visa, they're usually renting. And the way that I was able to secure this without scouting, I didn't do a scouting trip. My family and I, we just came to Portugal for the first time ever when we got the visa. We got an Airbnb, and then we canceled the Airbnb after 2 months. And we were able to find an apartment. So that's what we did in order to meet that requirement. But when we applied, it was only 6 months. You only needed to show that you had accommodations for 6 months. And so again, we booked the Airbnb for 6 months, and then we were able to find an apartment and then break it. And depending on the Airbnb, the cancellation policies might be, really good. So we ended up only paying for the days that we actually stayed in the Airbnb. And because of the timing and when we canceled, we were able to get all of our money back. I do recommend though, make sure that you cancel your Airbnb as soon as you can if you know you're not going to need it, so that the person who owns the property can, fill back up their reservation. So you just want to be, considerate of that. But getting an Airbnb was sufficient for the application. If that has changed, I'm not sure. I've honestly been hearing mixed reviews and mixed feedback from people in Facebook groups who are currently going through this process, but all I can share with you is my personal experience. And I also accompanied my application. My husband and I both did this. We wrote a personal letter saying that because we had kids, we wanted to get temporary accommodations like an Airbnb rather than a year-long apartment lease, because we wanted to have the opportunity to travel around Portugal and see where had the best schools and the best neighborhoods for our kids and their needs. And somehow that really helped us to get in on that requirement with just 6 months at an Airbnb. But you do need accommodations. Proof of accommodations is really important. Along that note, a lot of people have asked me where I live or how I found an apartment or things like that. And I wanted to share that I'm going to be creating a little home tour video, which is so strange. I've never thought to do that, but I've just been getting so many questions about it. So next week, stay tuned for a home tour, and I'm going to show you my townhome and the rooms and everything that came with it. It's fully furnished. I'm going to talk about how much it costs, the utilities, things like that. So if that's a video that you want to see, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you're finding it helpful, and subscribe to my channel and put on notifications so that you're notified when the home tour video comes up. So those are the 7 things you're going to need if you want to apply for the D7 visa. Again, it's not an exhaustive list. There is more requirements, but I wanted to touch on one last thing before you go. If you want to hire professional help like my husband and I did, we went through Global International Relocation. They are immigration attorneys based here in Lisbon, Portugal. They were easy to work with. They helped us with all the paperwork. They helped us when the requirements changed. They scheduled our 4-month review appointments, which is something a lot of people don't realize, that after you get here, you need to do another appointment with the government 4 months in to do another check-in and review and to get your temporary residence card. So they made that appointment, and they're going to be accompanying me and my husband to our appointment. And just a lot of things that are just helpful if you are a parent and you're working, and if you have the means to hire an attorney, I highly recommend booking a free 30-minute consultation with them. That's what my husband and I did, because we were really resistant to hire any sort of professional help, because we, I don't know if you've heard this your whole life, but the whole attorneys are really expensive. It can be scary, but I have to say that it ended up saving us a lot of money, because Whenever you make a mistake in the visa process, you do have to kind of, like, for instance, I messed up on my FBI fingerprints and I had to go pay another $85 to get that done again, and just things like that. So it helps to have somebody to message and go, hey, is this correct? And one of the things I really appreciated was we had a one-on-one call with our attorney when we were done with all of our paperwork, just to make sure that we had every single piece of paper that we needed before we went to San Francisco to go to the consulate and submit our application. So I know that hiring an attorney is not for everybody. I know a lot of people who have DIY'd their way into a D7 visa, so I don't say this to discourage you. But if you want to have some help with the immigration and settling process, and I've also heard that global relocation helps you find an apartment, helps you if you need to transport your things. Even when it comes to like fine arts and stuff, some people were like, I have books, I don't know how do I move them? Global International Relocation specializes in that too. So if you want to book a free consultation, send me an email at mia@miahemstad.com. I'll put it in the description as well, because I can connect you directly with the person we work with, the director of immigration services there. And I am an affiliate with them, so I get a small commission if you choose to work with me. It's their way of thanking me for referring you. I'm gonna leave all those details in the description for you to check out if you're interested. Also, if you need more resources about Portugal, don't forget that I have other YouTube videos. I'll link those in the description. I also have an ebook and I offer one-on-one consultations as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and hopefully I will see you next week in my home tour video. Bye.